And today we are throwing it all the way back to one of my favorite, spooky, iconic shows when I was just a wee little minion. I thought I would remind everyone from the 90s of this iconic, spooky, amazing show that watches my channel. Because most of us 90 babies are in our mid to late 20s, maybe early 30s, and some of you are parents, and I thought you might want to pass the amazing novel and TV show series onto your little spawns. Because are you really parenting if you don't break your little minions onto the wonderful show called Goosebumps? Goosebumps is a series of children's horror fiction novels by American author R.L. Stine. The stories follow characters who are always children that quickly find themselves in situations that we fear as children. Monsters under the bed, dolls hunted by evil spirits, ghosts, and other supernatural elements. Stine characterizes the series as scary books that also are funny. In 1995, the books were such a spooky hit that they turned it into a Canadian TV series that ran for 4 seasons, and it soon found its way onto Fox Network. And onto my TV and most of yours. And today, we are counting down the top 3 Goosebumps episodes that made it hard for me to fall asleep at night and not hang my little feet over my bed just in case one of those monsters from Goosebumps would just come up and snap it. Let's start. In the episode Stay Out of the Basement, the main character, Margaret, notices that her father is acting just a little bit different. She notices he's just off and no longer calls her princess any longer. He stays in the basement for the majority of the time. Margaret's fear skyrockets once her mom goes out of town to visit her sister in the hospital. Margaret's father is very adamant about them not even going near the basement door. When they ask what he's been doing down there, he says he's just doing plant testing. Through the episode, things only get weirder for Margaret and her younger brother. Their father tries to force them to eat some green, sloppy substance. They find worms and dirt in his bedroom. The doctor came for a visit and they never saw him leave. In fact, his car was still in front of the house and the father said that the doctor had left.
Casey heard a fight in the basement.
There was no fight.
But I heard it.
I'm telling you, there was no fight.
Where's Dr. Merrick?
Just left.
I didn't see him leave.
Are you interrogating me, Margaret?
No.
So now they're pretty sure their dad is a murderer. Eventually, they finally go to the place where their dad forbids them to go. The basement. They end up finding a man in a closet tied up, and guess who it is? Their father. Or at least, they think it is. The dad from upstairs comes sprinting down into the basement. The series does the whole, no, I'm the real one, no, I'm the real one segment.
Not your dad.
And the children are confused. I mean, one of the dads tried to force the kids to eat some weird plant-like green substance. He had a very odd fetish with the basement and didn't want to share with any of the other family members. And they're almost certain that he murdered the doctor that came to their house earlier. But yeah, let's be confused. Eventually, one of the dads says a phrase that only Margaret's dad would call her.
Princess!
And she knows what she has to do. At the end of the episode, everything seems almost back to normal. Their dad's back, the doctor was found, I guess he was stuffed somewhere in the basement, and everyone is laughing and going in the house for some food. But as Margaret is going back inside, one of the flowers yell out to her.
Margaret. Margaret, help me. Please help me. I'm your father. I'm your real father. Oh, I'm your father. No, I'm your father. I'm your father.
Now that one didn't really freak me out as a kid, but there was just something about the flower talking at the end that confused the freak out of my childhood brain. Was it her dad? Was it another experiment? The bald-headed man that's walking into her house right now actually her father? What was going on? Where is Margaret's dad? Why are these flowers talking? I mean, what if your parent, the one that protects you, the one that you love, somehow got killed or swapped with some odd creature that didn't have the best intentions for you or your family? Piano lessons can be murder. New places can be scary. New houses that are actually old and have haunted objects in them and ghosts can be scarier. Jerry finds an old dusty piano in the attic of his new home. He's pretty excited about this, and his parents see this and offers to pay for some piano lessons. But something's a little not normal about Jerry's new piano school. The moment that Jerry and his mother drove up to the location, they should have turned around, but that's not how Goosebump worked. Dr. Shriek was Jerry's new piano teacher, who was a little weird, but what piano teachers aren't? They're always just a little different and excited about music, very expressive people. But this wasn't the case for Dr. Shriek. He was very obsessed with music and very obsessed with the hand that played beautiful music. Another thing that Jerry noticed is that he always would hear students playing, but he would never see any other students. Not only is Jerry's school a little different, but the old dusty piano that hasn't been touched in years at his home keeps playing while no one is playing it. When Jerry goes to find who is playing, he comes across an old ghost, that is. Of course, Jerry's parents do what any loving parent would do if they see their kid shrieking, crying, and screaming that they just saw a ghost. It's all part of your imagination. Go back to bed. Shuts off all the lights and closes the door. Did that piss anybody else off as a kid? If I just told you that I saw some evil spirit, ghost, monster thing crawling from underneath my bed, do not tell me that I'm basically insane. Turn off all my lights and then shut the door and leave me in the dark where that monster can come assault me. At the end of the episode, the creepiness just escalates. Dr. Shriek ends up attacking Jerry because he needs his hand to play beautiful music. Jerry makes a run for it down to the basement into an area he's never been before, passing up the front doors, but okay. As he runs away, Dr. Shriek catches up to him, and just as Jerry thinks Dr. Shriek is going to take his hand, the maintenance man saves him. It turns out that Dr. Shriek was only a robot, and the maintenance man was the creator of Dr. Shriek, and he wants Jerry's hands as well.
Your hands, Jerry. You're nuts! Why do you need my hands? To make beautiful music.
And right before the maintenance lunatic who has a love of children's hands was about to dismember Jeffries so that his hands can play for eternity, the creepy ghost from Jerry's house swoops in. This ghost ended up being the creepy maintenance man's old teacher, and she then forced him to play the piano in that old creepy warehouse for eternity.
Much longer! Till eternity!
Now, I use the word iconic to describe the whole Goosebumps series, but R.L. Stine took it to a whole different level of iconicness when he came up with the book and the episode, The Night of the Living Dummy, and the mischievous, evil dummy known as Slappy. What's the worst thing that can happen when you're little? Yes, your very own toy, or better yet, your creepy looking doll, being infested with an evil spirit and then wanting to kill you and your family. Though the book had me side-eyeing every single doll in my room at nights, and the book differed a lot from the episode when it came out, when I watched the first episode of The Night of the Living Dummy when it aired on television, my skin started to get goosebumps. The episode opens up with some sort of family performance day. We were all watching this last week, a lot of like other 90s kids, and I turned to my boyfriend and was like, is this what your people do on the weekend? Show and tell Sunday? And he says, yes, Michelle, when we visit my family this holiday, this is what we do. Calm down, it's a joke. White people do show and tell Sundays, and black people, we rap in our living rooms and then we break out the fried chicken. Calm down. During family show and tell night, the main character, Amy, performs a bit with her dummy, Dennis. Dennis is old, he's falling apart, and it's really screwing up Amy's flow when she's performing. Surprisingly, Amy's dad presents her with an almost new dummy. She opens the case and notices a note with a bunch of odd words written on it, and she decides to read it aloud.
From Molyneux Caramel?
They always read it aloud. Once Amy says those words, she releases Slappy's spirit and he is alive. Weird things start happening around the house. Amy's older sister's painting gets ruined, but everybody claims that they did not do it. Later on in the episode, Amy shortly finds red paint on Slappy's hands. She becomes suspicious of her new friend. One night she hears noises. notices Slappy isn't where she left him and decides to check it out. She walks downstairs to find Slappy holding the dad's guitar above her sleeping parents on the couch. She rushes over and slams into him, but during her heroic act, the guitar smashes into pieces. She tries to explain to her parents that Slappy was trying to kill them, but you know how Goosebump parents are. At the end of the episode, the parents leave Amy, her brother, and her older sister alone on a dark, stormy night. Because it wouldn't be a Goosebumps episode if the parents didn't leave their kids at home alone on a dark and stormy night, especially when their kid is saying, "This doll is trying to kill me and the family." Psh, go to your room, Amy. We're gonna go see a movie. While the parents are gone, Slappy's having a good time being the little demonic doll that we all love. The sister finally sees that it's not Amy causing all these issues, it's Slappy the doll. And Amy's just like, the episode does the whole Scooby-Doo-esque thing where the monster chases the main character, but eventually the parents come home. And this was just a mind-blowing part for me when I was a little kid because the parents actually walk in and see Slappy. The episode ends with Dennis, the broken down dummy, sporting a very goofy-like voice, saving the family and saying,
"It's good to be back in the family again."
So those are my top 3 Goosebump episodes that made it just a little bit harder to sleep at night when I was a little spawn. Make sure to tell me yours in the comment section. I would also read the books until like 3 a.m. in the morning. Like finishing full books with my room all dark like, oh, I think R.L. Stine might be the reason why I saw or maybe imagined a lot of dark figures when I was little. Did I just give you a hint of what the story time is going to be this Saturday? See you then.